Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet Lakers, brought to you by your Toyota dealers. We make it easy. Chris McGee, James Worthy, Robert Ory. We got Allie and Mike Trudell down at the arena. The Lakers fall to the Orlando Magic. It was the first time this year that they failed to close out a team and get the win after leading at the end of the third quarter. Disappointing, to say the least. They go 4-4 on this 8-game homestand. Listen, second chance points was a big theme tonight. 13 offensive boards for Orlando that turned into 15. Second chance points, Lakers struggle from the free throw line, 20 of 28. But when you look at this box score, the balance was there for the Lakers. It had all the makings for a win. Where did you see this game get away, James? End up with Orlando winning?
I don't know, Gid. I think some decision-making down the stretch. You know, I think defensively, I think, you know, LeBron got kind of suckered in a little bit. And I was saying all the time, you got to stay at home on Bane. He's the big shot maker. And I think LeBron got suckered in for that big three. The offensive rebounds you talked about, Geeter. The inability to execute. Not fully using the 24-second shot clock to move the ball. You know, they had Ayton very involved, you know, and I think they stopped going to the bread and butter and they went back to some ISOs down the stretch. It did not work in their favor. Offensive rebounds, once again, you know, it really hurt them. But I just think decision-making down the stretch, some defensive indecisions, offensive rebounds, I keep saying that. Just another disappointing loss at home.
For me, I just think it boils down to bad luck. You think about, when's the last time we seen Rui shoot an air ball? But we lucked up and got that one, got in bounds. And then they had 2 offensive rebounds there. I call it 2 offensive. The guard sneaks in, gets it, then it goes the window. He puts it back. There's so many things like that. It's the way the ball bounces. And I figured when you have those moments where you need to knock out a team, you need to execute. And you don't, execution is boxing out. Execution is doing a little thing. Execution is not about doing what you do on the offensive end. And I think there was some bad luck with some malls, but also it boiled down to execution.
Yeah, and you guys are talking about, listen, I don't know if we can show you right now all 3 of these possessions, but, you know, Desmond Bane, the big 3, the Carter putback that came off an offensive rebound from a guard, and then the LeBron possession at the end. I think everyone thought Luka was shooting that ball. There's the Bane 3. There it is.
There's some players you got to stay at home. He's known for being a big shot maker. So I know LeBron wanted to help a little bit and you know, going for a steal, but that was a big shot. And then this one, I mean, look, I don't know when Luka has not taken that shot in a big game situation. To have both he and LeBron on the same side, that was easy to guard, like yeah, a pass away. So I thought Luka would take the shot to give them a few seconds to possibly get an offensive rebound as well.
And I think LeBron felt the same thing, and then not knowing probably how much time was left on the clock, and he's got to force that shot.
I think the pump fake to relocate by Luka gave him a wide open shot, and it was actually closer. So LeBron was like, okay, I'm going to the basket. And now he's like, wait, what's happening? You know, and it was a little confusing. And for me, you know, I don't know if Luka, I doubt this, because Luka, he gonna shoot it regardless. He was 2 for 10 from 3. Mm-hmm. Do you think that played a part in it? Who knows? But LeBron was shooting it very well. And sometimes, you know, we settle for jump shots when Luka had a drive. You're so good at drawing the fouls. Just go ahead and drive. I know you weren't shooting it good from the free throw line either, but who knows? You got that Luka magic. It might have fell in. You got the and one. So I think there was a lot of things going on there, and it looked to me like they started thinking. You know, when you think as a basketball player, that can kind of throw you off. So I felt like they were thinking a little too much.
Look back to that big possession too, James, where we thought Luka got fouled on the 3 with Carter closing out.
Yeah.
And then they end up calling no foul. The Lakers did get the tip.
Yeah.
They had a jump ball at half court, but big play with when you think Luka's going to the free throw line for 3 up 1.
That was a big play. I also know that, you know, one of our big game-winning, you know, shot makers is Austin Reeves. And I think with Luka not shooting the ball as well, tonight, you know, maybe you go to Austin, who's definitely, you know, gets in the interior of the defense. Probably wouldn't have been looking for a three himself. But, yeah, I mean, these are decisions that they make. Some work. 2 in a row at home. That doesn't taste very well. And so now they got to figure out how they can bounce back.
So, Rob, let's talk Paolo Banchero. I mean, 12 for 22, 10 for 11 from the free throw line. Missed his first one late in the game, actually. It was a break for the Lakers. He ended up with 36. But when you look at his third quarter, the Lakers had that 10, 12-point lead. 17 in the third really got Orlando right back in it, down 1 going into the fourth.
You know, it was like him and Austin Reeves were just going at it in the third quarter, and he, you know, we joked about his nickname, but he showed us tonight that is not true. He came out, he took over the game. And one of the things we don't realize about this dude is a big body. This dude's 6'10".
He's a tough cover.
He's a tough cover when he got it going like in draft because he has the skill set to do all these things. But this has been a down year for him. And, of course, when you play the Lakers, you come out of a slump.
And they've now won 6 of 8, and they're getting themselves into the playoffs.
He reminds me of LeBron James a lot. He has the size, the strength. He doesn't mind the physical contact. You know, I think his mid-range game is really, you know, outstanding. But as far as Rob's talking about, the size and the strength, I compare him a lot to LeBron.
You guys, we were a little nervous about Desmond Bane throughout the whole night. He only had 10 going into the fourth. He was 0 for 5 from 3. He ends up with 22, so 12 of those come in the fourth, and 2 big threes, Rob.
Yeah.
One was to beat the shot clock from 30.
What was I saying before the time?
Do not let Bane get the ball.
You know, he talks a lot of trash. He plays hard. And let's give it to him. This guy he has a killer instinct. He wants to go out and beat guys. He tries to intimidate guys, and he never gave up. In the second half, he shot the ball well. He played good defense. You know, you think about the moment when he got hot. LeBron, on a couple plays, didn't let him catch. LeBron was moving his feet and doing that, and all of a sudden, the last play, you know, I've made a lot of shots like this because everybody doing the last
Get suckered in.
The last seconds of game.
Bane was the only player. He was if I look at it, the replay again, all other players on both teams were in that paint.
Yeah, because Paolo was at the rim, which I didn't really realize.
He was the only one that stood out there because he knew that they would find him. Yeah,
Paolo was getting to the rim, and I think that's what brought everyone in, and he kicked it back out. Let's hear from Coach J.J. Redick, brought to you by your Toyota dealers. All right, well, let's get you to the highlight. Lakers taking on the mat. LeBron James with Allie Clifton in the media.
LeBron, I believe it was the first loss when leading after 3 for you guys. How would you assess where this one broke down?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of plays, obviously a lot of bang-bang plays to finish that game off. I mean, we made shots. You know, we couldn't get that 2 possession. You know, we go up 3, they come down, hit a 3, we go up 3 again. They come down, get an and 1, we go up 2. They take the lead. It was just like couldn't get a stop, you know, a key stop, and it cost us all the way to the end.
What did you see on that final offensive possession?
I thought we had a good opportunity. Luka came off clean, and I think he, you know, felt off balance, you know, but we executed. We didn't get the shot that we wanted. We did execute it, and just didn't go down.
When you guys, like Jay just said, played the right way, we played together, we played hard enough to win. When you do that and then the results like this, like, what's the message that you guys say to one another, or do you look forward to the next game?
We lost.
But like, obviously it's the loss, but is it one that you can accept more because you're like, we did the things we were supposed to do?
No.
What was supposed to happen on that last play? I know you said you didn't get the look and shot you wanted.
No, we executed. We executed. Like I said, I felt like I'm not sure. I mean, obviously you have to ask Luka what he saw on that, but I thought he had a good look, and it looked like he kind of just lost his balance. You know, didn't have a rhythm with the ball, whatever the case may be, and it kind of allowed him to get back in front of him. You know, I was kind of off balance when he gave it to me. I thought he had a great look, but no, that's what I looked. That's my POV.
You guys had 2 double-digit leads in this game, one at 12 points, and then first half, and then 13 points in the first half and 12 points in the second half. What do you guys need to do to make sure that you guys aren't squandering those leads late in this season?
Close the quarters. We just got to close quarters better.
This is your longest, I think, homestand. Going back to the win over the Sixers, start the month, probably one of the longest homestands we'll have this season. Just how would you assess where this team's at and the growth that you guys have had over the past 3 weeks?
I don't know. Shit, I didn't even know what today was when I woke up. You asked me about the last 3 weeks? I'm the wrong guy to ask, champ.
Is that just like this time of year in the NBA?
What?
Just like you don't know what day of the week it is? Or?
Yeah, that's a part of it. That's a part of it. But it's also games just bang, 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 bang. You don't have much time to really think. You know, we playing every other day or it's a back-to-back. So it's like, think about something that happened 3 weeks ago in this league. It's hard to, you can't even do it.
You guys went 4-4 on that trip. Does that feel like an opportunity squandered a little bit?
On what trip?
Or I'm sorry, homestand. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you think? I mean, you guys haven't been a great home team this season. Why do you think that's been the case?
I don't know. Just haven't been a good home team.
I know Jackson was out. Da had 21 and 13 boards. Is that the kind of effort you need from him every night, especially on the glass?
Obviously, sometimes we sometimes he has it going, and and when he does has it going, we try to find him. And tonight, I thought we did a great job of doing that, and I thought he played great.
Won the next two against the Mavs, went into the All-Star break, beat the Clippers, disappointing loss versus Celtics, and then tonight a tough one. Chance to go 5-3 on that road trip, but you end up 4-4. Now you head out on the road for 2, taking on Phoenix Thursday and the Warriors Saturday before returning home Sunday and the following Tuesday. I want to talk Austin Reeves. 0 points, first half. Got it going. Second half, 10 in the third, 8 in the fourth, ended up with 18, James. Man, still just kind of not getting the calls out there that we are used to seeing. I know he's getting frustrated, but he did a really good job of keeping his head.
Yeah, he's a cool customer, but he's not getting the calls. They're obvious calls, too. He does a good job of, making the defense react to him. But he played through it, Geeter. He played through the 9 calls, and I like his attitude. 0 points in the first half, but he did come alive in the third and try to get his game going. But, yeah, he definitely deserves a few more calls that are the obvious ones, Rob.
Yeah, I think sometimes you have to look at the crew that's calling the games. And some of the crews are, I'm going to let you play. And also, it dictates how the defense is playing. If they're playing aggressive, that was a foul, and so they don't call it. So you got to adjust, and I think he did a great job adjusting. Sometimes it takes a half to go in the locker room, talk to yourself, and get yourself pumped up and say, I'm him. Then you come back and have a good second half, and I think that's what he did tonight.
Let's talk a little DeAndre Ayton, guys, too. Listen, you guys called for it. Let's get him involved, and he was involved early and often. 21 points, 8 of 11. He did have 17 and a half. He only had 3 shots in that second half. But also Austin's getting going, and maybe they adjust a little bit more. But I know, James, you wanted to see him a little more involved in that second half.
Yeah, look, he had a good game. He had a good first half. I think touches for him are important. He can definitely score, but he also does a lot of other good things. I think 0 points for Austin Reeves in the first half. You knew he was going to have a more aggressive second half. So not a lot of shots available for Ayton there. But overall, I thought his game and his production and his, participation was really good tonight.
I thought so too. I think he came out aggressive. You think about what Carter was, was playing him. It was like a battle of bigs. It was old school for a second. The 2 bigs were going tit for tat. And I think, they were finding him. I talked about the pick and roll. And sometimes, you see Jackson Hayes with the lobs. And, Ayton is a lob guy, but not like Jackson Hayes. So I think sometimes tonight he showed that I can be a to-the-basket guy instead of pick and pop. And that's going to be vital down the stretch because there's going to be moments where Luka, LeBron, AR are going to get that double team, and they got to understand that somebody like this is going to be open. I think this is one of those games you can go back and watch the film and say, yo, you write this down in your notes, so this is what we need to exploit. And Ayton, this is what you need to do. You don't always have to pop for the jump shot. We know you have a great jump shot, but roll to the basket and get an easier one.
All right, guys, Luke Kennard speaking with Allie in the media.
Luke, in a tight win like this, it's easy to look at the last few possessions, but in totality, where do you feel like this one slipped away?
I don't know. I mean, I think at the end of the day, just quick thoughts after. I thought we did a good job of executing down the stretch. We had some big-time shots, and we just couldn't get stops. That's, I think that's when we really need to focus and communicate, really lock in there at the end, and just when I was in there, Luka hit a couple big ones.
When you look at the defense, is it chemistry? Is it schematics? Where do you kind of find that balance moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, it's just communication, trusting one another. I thought we did a good job executing throughout the game. There were some slip-ups. I mean, it's not going to be perfect throughout the games, but you know, it's definitely some things we got to clean up and talk through. But it just comes down to trust and communication and physicality, and obviously control your effort and just compete on that end.
Throughout your career, what's the best way that you found for yourself personally to get over like a gut punch type of loss?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely not easy. I mean, you're going to think about it for a little while, but it's part of the NBA. Games like that happens, and you got to move on. You got to find a way to move on. Obviously, you can look back on it, talk about it, figure out some things you got to work on, but we got another one in 2 days.
Being a new guy to the squad and kind of assessing, you know, your first few weeks here, where do you think the team's at right now?
Yeah, I mean, I got full confidence in this group and who we have in this locker room, and I mean, I've been on a lot of teams, a lot of good teams, and I fully believe in what we have. Just being around these guys, the way they prepare, the way they talk to each other, the way we compete. And obviously, we got to put together a full 48 minutes. But for me, just being a new guy, getting to know all these guys, I mean, it's been a pleasure for sure, and I believe in what we have in here.
LeBron James.
Our panel of experts break down the day's matchup.
He's proven to be a threat offensively. I love that little mid-range game. Very impressed.
And after the final buzzer, head back to the studio for post-game reaction, highlights, and interviews.
When you got the size advantage and the skill advantage, you take over, and that's what he did tonight.
Access Sportsnet Lakers, pre- and post-game coverage on Spectrum Sportsnet.
Check out the Lakers calendar. Mini 2-game road trip. You're going to the Valley, taking on the Suns, up to the Bay Area, taking on the Warriors, back home on the Kings, second night of a back-to-back. Then you got the Pelicans, and then the Nuggets on March 5th in Denver. Let's head back downtown. DeAndre Ayton's Alley Clifton.
DeAndre, not the result you wanted, but where do you think this one got away from you guys?
You say, how did it get away from? Down the stretch, I'm trading too many baskets. I felt like we didn't, get the stops we needed. And 50-50, balls just, we didn't get them and close out possessions correctly. And, loose ball and, them converting, even with offensive second chances and, hitting us with daggers late in the stretch. So that kind of like, had us on our heels a little bit.
JJ was talking yesterday that he wanted to see you exploit the mismatches against smaller guys. You had 17 points in the first half. That's your most in the first half this season. How did you feel that kind of offensive setup looked in the first half for you?
Yeah, my playmakers, were feeding me the ball, and because, tonight they believed in their switches a lot, so I'm glad I got a chance to punish that, just to switch it up a little bit, give him a different look.
Have you seen times this year when you play with force, set screens, crash roll, all those things that you're also rewarded with more touches and looks from your teammates?
Yeah, most definitely. The ball find energy. So, they believe in me when I'm down there and sealing, and, they see me rolling hard to the rim or crashing. They reward me, and, just add more and keep stacking as many possessions as I can with that, just to have a certain rhythm throughout the game.
You guys went 4-4 on this 8-game homestand, including the losses tonight, obviously, and the one in Boston. Does it feel like a missed opportunity just because it is so much time at home?
Can you say that again?
Does the 4-4 record at home over the last 3 weeks, does it feel like a missed opportunity?
A missed opportunity like what?
To take advantage of, playing from your home court, playing from your home crowd, and get some momentum in the standings, especially in the West where everyone's so next to each other.
Yeah, it's a bit upsetting, but I think we got like 24 games left. We still got a lot of chances to, just get in a good position as we can. It did feel weird in the homestand, just being 4-4. It was tough losses and played against some really good teams, but we play every other day, so just get back in the lab and just get ready for the next game.
Thanks, DA.
Thank you.
Let's head back downtown. Luka Doncic with the media.
Hey, Luka, what did you see on the